So when historians look at the start of the WHA, there's only one team that solidified the possibility of such a World Hockey Association. Now, the Winnipeg Jets were okay, some of the Western teams, some of the Eastern U.S. Teams, but without the Quebec Nordiques, there would have been no WHA. Now, the word Nordiques means translation as Quebec City Northmen or the Northerners. Now, they played the WHA, the initial incarnation, for 7 years, from 72 to 79, but the legend of the Nordiques pretty well died when he relocated to Denver in May in 1995 and were renamed the Colorado Avalanche. Now, they played their iconic contests at the other beautiful rink in Quebec besides the Old Forum, the Colisée in Quebec. Now, the Quebec Nordiques formed again as one of the original WHA teams in 72. The franchise was not one of the 8 original teams established when the league was announced on November 1st. The franchise was originally awarded to a group in San Francisco as the San Francisco Sharks. However, the San Francisco group's funding collapsed prior to the start of the season, and the WHA in haste sold the organization to a group of 6 Quebec City businessmen who owned a highly profitable Quebec Remparts junior team. They were Marcel Bedard, Léopold Beausoleil, Jean-Marc Bruno, John Decret, Marius Fortier, and Jean-Claude Mathieu. They bought the team after the American Hockey League team, the Quebec Aces, moved south to Richmond, Virginia. Now, the squad were named the Nordiques because they were one of the most northernmost teams in professional sports. Now, Quebec City is located at 56 degrees north latitude, and Nordiques, translated from French to English, means Northerners or Northmen. The only WHA teams located farther north were the Alberta Oilers, who changed their name to Edmonton, the Calgary Cowboys, the Vancouver Blazers, and the Winnipeg Jets. The Nordiques' first head coach had to be something really special, and it was. It was a legendary Maurice Richard, but he only lasted 2 games, a 2-0 loss to the Cleveland Crusaders, and a 6-0 shutout against the Alberta Oilers. According to published reports, the Rocket didn't really like coaching to begin with. He thought he'd lend his name to the franchise, and he eventually stepped down. Now, they loaded up on some former Montreal Canadiens, high junior players, and other top players. And the Nordiques' first star was the former quarterback of the Montreal Canadiens defense, J.C. Tremblay, who led the WHA in assists in the league's first season and would be named a league all-star for his first 4 years in Quebec. The next season, Quebec stalwart Serge Bournier and Réjean Houle joined the Nordiques. In 1975, they finally made the playoffs with the help of the high-scoring Marc Tardif, another pickup for the Canadiens. And the year also saw the debut of the very talented Réal Cloutier, who would eventually become one of the WHA's big stars. Now, they bet the Phoenix Roadrunners and the Fighting Saints to reach the Avco Cup final, but where they were swept in 4 games by the talented and Gordie Howe-led Houston Aeros. Now, at the time, the Quebec Nordiques had probably one of the best offenses in all professional hockey, and it became a high-scoring juggernaut. Many professional records were broken by the Nordiques. They had such a lineup that the next season, they became the only team in major professional hockey to have 5 players break 100 points. Tardif, Cloutier, Bernier, Houle, and former Montreal Canadian prospect Christian Bordeaux, a mark which still stands as of 2020. The season ended disappointment as the Nordiques lost to the Calgary Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs, due majorly in the fact that Marc Tardif was injured in a controversial attack by the Cowboys' Rick Giudizo. Despite injuries to Tardif and an agent Tremblay, the Nordiques finally captured the Avco World Cup in 77 as he took out the New England Whalers and the Indianapolis Racers in consecutive series of 5 games before beating the Jets in 7 behind Bernier's 36 points in 17 playoff games. They also represented Canada as the Vestia hockey tournament that year in Moscow, finishing last with an 0-3-1 record. Now, a lot of people can tell you there's information on that Game 7 in video form, and the whole game is available. It's a little bit hot, as we say, but you can enjoy it. Now, by 1978, the WHA was in crisis, and Marcel Auboul, by then the team's president, under ownership of the Carling O'Keefe Brewery, began checking on interest in the NHL. The Nordiques were unable to defend their title and fell in the playoffs to the Whalers, and the 78-79 season would be the final one for the WHA and for J.C. Tremblay, who decided he wasn't going to be part of the merge and retired at the end of the season, and he has his number 3 jersey retired. So this is part 1 of the history of the Quebec Nordiques. Part 2 will talk about its 1980s rise and fall, the Battle of Quebec, and also talking about their 3 cousins in the WHA, Hartford, Winnipeg, and Edmonton, that joined them with the merge, and the machinations where they weren't allowed to bring the players with them. We'll talk about that in the next podcast. Thanks. Bye.